Alright, guys, so we're now about to wrap up the reviews of the series that have happened in New Who. And this was the final episodes of the last 20 years of New Who as we celebrate Jodie's final series as the Doctor, referred to as Doctor Who Flux. That's what the series 13 was called. Obviously, this introduced John Bishop as, yes, Dan would finally join the TARDIS for this six-part series, which was really cool. We're now going to have a chance to look at some of my Flux storyline and which parts I thought were more interesting than others. Without further ado, make sure to like and subscribe, and let's take a look. First episode, the Halloween Apocalypse. I love the Halloween Apocalypse. I love how they set this one up. The fact the Doctor and Yaz were in pursuit of Cuskavan, one of the dog-like Upo species, a reason unclear to Yaz. They escape from a capture and follow him to Earth in the TARDIS. The Doctor, and then of course it led to physical vision of the Sworn, which was essentially was a being from the Division. And then we finally come to Liverpool, where we would meet Dan Lewis, is John Bishop's character, who is about to arrange a date with a museum worker Diane before attending a shift at a soup kitchen and heading home. Casavan breaks into his house and transports him into his Lobel ship. And then, of course, the Doctor and Yaz arrive investigating his house and discovering what appears to be a Lupin invasion. And yeah, it was a really nice introduction to the pretty much the intro for the six-part storyline or chapters. It aired on Halloween, so we had our very first Halloween broadcast to Who's story. And also this story also featured the return of the Santarans and Weeping Angels. That was really cool. We got to see a glimpse of Weeping Angels and the Santarans, which was really cool. So we got to see a little elements from other parts of the story brought into the first one, which was really nice. It was just really cool to see the TARDIS being unable to transport behind the shield, and obviously the TARDIS free doorways fly open as the Flux approaches. So essentially, if that Sworn is the Flux, she was going to try and protect the Earth from the Flux, which didn't really work out as the Doctor basically lost control face to face with the Flux. But then, of course, another part of the story, I also enjoyed the War of the Santarans. I actually love the fact that they brought back the old design of the Santaran, classic style series design, missed from Doctor Who for a while, brought that back for the story, which was really nice. It took place in the old times. It took place in the Crimean War, where the Santaran battle took place, and of course the Doctor would deal with the Santarans to the point that they destroyed their Santaran base, which eventually meant that the TARDIS would unfortunately malfunction, forcing the Doctor and Dan into the temple. But obviously they destroyed the temple, and then eventually the Doctor begs the Swan to not activate the temple. He ignores her and takes control, which is and then unfortunately an unknown power unleashed will kill Yaz and the Doctor begging. So obviously they were continuing on the story War of the Santaran. And then of course we had Village of the Angels, which was probably cliffhanger for this was perfect. The fact that it took place in the setting of 1967, and we would have Professor Jericho, we would meet Miss Hayward, is a character we saw a little bit in the beginning, referred to as Claire Brown. We find out that she basically speaks for the Weeping Angels, and then when she tries to convince the Angels for a bargain, she said no, because the Doctor learns that the Angels have taken the village out of time and space in order to the Reggaday Angel. But then the Doctor tries to make a deal with the Angels, but then it turns out that the Reggaday Angel reveals it offers the Doctor to them for its own safety. So the Doctor was recalled by the Division, so she got turned into the Weeping Angel. So yes, by some miracle, the Weeping Angels captured the Doctor and turned her into an angel, which was one of the most incredible cliffhangers that we've seen from Jodie's time. She basically got turned into a Weeping Angel. It's the first time ever Doctor gets turned into one. Was a very nice setup. Also, we find out that Yaz, Dan, along with Jericho, were sent to 1901, and it was because of that Yaz and Dan would basically have to work with Jericho to find their way back to the present day. So they find a way to save the Doctor from the division, essentially. And it was just Survivor of the Flux, I couldn't really get into because the fact that we find out that the head of the division, Oscar from Once Upon, ordered the U to create the final Flux event just so to explain the division's involvement in the development of this current upcoming universe. Essentially, the Doctor defects and interferes with the division's work to tries to find a way to basically stop it. She was given a watch with the Doctor's lost memories. She just refused to use because she didn't want anything to do with those lost because she wanted to keep it as like so. Yeah, so they would So to be fair, the stories I enjoyed the most were probably the Halloween Apocalypse, War of the Santarans, Village of the Angels, and probably the three of the episodes that I actually enjoyed the most because Vanquishers it was all right. It could have been better. It was one of those stories, wasn't it? They fixed everything in the end, but then we had that prophecy about the Doctor's time will end. This would eventually lead to essentially build up to Jodie's departure as the 13th Doctor because we knew that Jodie Whittaker was leaving the following year, but we didn't know who she was replacing to. So, but there you go. So that was the pretty much the Flux, the sixth episode. Yeah, and the 3 episodes I enjoyed, but there were 6 in total. So I would love to know in the conversation what you make of Doctor Who Flux. What was your favorite story from the Flux, and more importantly, did you enjoy the series? Let me know in the conversation below. And we're going to obviously now be building up to transition into the Christmas specials, Doctor Who's Past, where we're going to start with the Christmas invasion and working our way through. We're going to try and work our way through the Christmas specials of Doctor Who's Past and be able to relive basically the last 20 David Tennant all the way to Peter Capaldi's final Christmas as the 12th Doctor. Have an opportunity to relive Joy to the World as well for the beginning of our Christmas reviews for the New Who 20-year anniversary celebration. See you then.